since Matt Stafford entered the league in 2009, his talent was clear to everyone. But after a dozen years with the Detroit Lions, with mostly losing and 0 playoff wins, his career was headed toward what-if status. Mainly, what if he played for a more functional organization with greater talent surrounding him? Fortunately for Stafford, Rams GM Les Snead is a gambler and went all in to get Stafford with one goal in mind: win the Super Bowl this year at home in SoFi Stadium. Now only one game away from that becoming a reality, it appears the trade and the high price was worth it. While the Rams have star-studded talent up and down the roster, they are here because of Stafford, who has not only been lights out in their 3 postseason games, but he has saved his best throws for down the stretch in critical moments against the Bucs and the 49ers.
Long time coming. Spent a lot of years in this league and I've loved every minute of it. I sure am happy for this opportunity for not only myself, but really so many guys in that locker room that deserve this too.
You can argue there is no player who will be on the field at Super Bowl 56 whose career narrative stands to benefit more with a win than Stafford. Quarterbacks are fairly or unfairly judged by Super Bowls. Will Stafford join that exclusive club and cap off a dream season his entire career has been building toward this moment?
Or will Joe Burrow join that club in just his 2nd season? NFL ranks this season, when you include the playoffs, nobody's been better than Burrow in completion percentage and yards per attempt. They are 2 and 3 in passer rating. Burrow's 2nd, Stafford 3rd. And to break down our Super Bowl quarterbacks, we have our quarterback, Brady Quinn, here. Brady, we're gonna start bad news first, okay? We're gonna ask you to give us each quarterback's biggest weakness, because all we've heard are great things about Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow coming in. So for Matthew Stafford in particular, what would you say his biggest weakness is?
I think his biggest weakness is at times he makes some inopportune decisions, maybe tries to do too much, or tries to utilize that strong arm he has to fit balls and windows that really shouldn't be there. But it's the decision-making, and you don't have to look back any further than the NFC Championship game. 4th quarter, down by 3. They get the ball, and he takes a shot downfield. I don't know if he didn't see Jaquiski Tart or if the ball was just that poorly underthrown, but this could have literally changed the momentum of not only the game, but just their chances of going to a Super Bowl. And you see this from time to time coming through the film for Matt Stafford, who's had a great postseason thus far. However, there will be throws, there will be times when he presses and he forces the ball into coverage like this. So I would say that's his weakness, and not making that back-breaking throw or poor decision late in the game or a critical situation of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the narrative would be a lot different right now on Matthew Stafford had Tart made that catch, made that interception, and the 49ers had closed things out. So that's Matthew Stafford's weakness. How about Joe Burrow? And you kind of crowdsourced this a little bit in the group chat, asking Pete Prisco if he had any weakness for Joe Burrow. Did you guys find anything?
Well, first off, if you'll remember when Joe Burrow first came out, I said a screen grab of the list of things that I said Joe Burrow needs to work on, and then when he transitions into the NFL. That list had nothing on it. It was just a blank page. And I still feel that way about Joe Burrow now, 2 years into his time in the NFL. He doesn't really have any weaknesses, to be honest with you. Now, you could maybe say he doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's got plenty of arm strength. And you could go through a list of things where maybe he's not the best, but he's right up there close to it if he's not the best. So he doesn't have any weaknesses. Really, it's the weaknesses out around him that impact him. And we saw that in the divisional round in Tennessee, taking on the Titans, where he got sacked 9 times. It's the protection or the lack thereof and this offensive line, and in particular this matchup, having to go up against the Defensive Player of the Year and Aaron Donald, edge rushers like Leonard Floyd and Von Miller, guys who can flat out get after it. That's going to be his biggest weaknesses. It's not so much any of his talent or ability. It's what he's working with in front of him and how he goes about navigating that pocket under duress.
All right, back to Matthew Stafford. Brady, what would you say his biggest strength is?
Well, everyone talks about his arm talent. That's been well documented throughout the course of his career. I think the thing that gets overlooked sometimes is his intermediate to deep ball accuracy, in particular when you watch him throw into tight windows, usually in zone coverage when all the defenders have their eyes looking back at him. He's able to fit balls into tight windows that other quarterbacks aren't capable of because they don't have that arm strength. And you saw an example of that in the NFC Championship game, the 2nd quarter, and a touchdown pass the corner of the end zone to Cooper Kupp. So that's one thing that really always demonstrates itself. No matter what game he's playing in, you're going to see Matthew Stafford, that strong arm and that accuracy in some of the down the field throws.
And for Joe Burrow, I mean, I'm not sure if this is his biggest strength, but what I love most about him is his moxie. You know, he says it like it is, and I think that's why he's gained a lot of fans. But what is his biggest strength on the field?
You just like it because he smokes cigars after big wins. And that's
yeah, just like me, minus the win. I'll smoke them win or lose.
Let's be honest, it's really about the cigar smoking. No, I think the thing about Joe Burrow that's so impressive is, you know, the way he navigates the pocket at the NFL level and the way he can take a bad play or what looks like a disaster and make it into something. And you saw that last week on the road versus Kansas City, getting some pressure, had a big completion to Jamar Chase for the first down. And it's one of the things where you don't appreciate it because he makes it look so easy. You know, it's almost like being a fireman going into a burning house and have everything else out, you know, burning out around you. And he has so much poise and so much composure in that pocket that's breaking down. He still keeps two hands on the football and good fundamentals. He still keeps his eyes downfield, and he finds the target and he finds the big play. And he does it accurately. I might as well add too.
And Brady, you've got some film analysis on both of these guys. Take us through it.
Yeah, so I've really actually already highlighted those plays. We'll go back through them and talking about some of these strengths, but let's start off with Joe Burrow because we were just talking about him, and some of really highlighting the fact that he is so good navigating the pocket. So watch as he drops back. You know, he's gonna get some pressure from the interior of the pocket. He's gonna push him to the left. Still keeps two hands on the football, eyes downfield, and finds Jamar Chase, who's uncovered on the backside of really where he was looking in the first place, for the first down to keep the drive going, to go down and get some points. And again, he does this with composure, with poise. He doesn't panic. He doesn't let the ball get knocked out of his hand. And he makes it look easy. And he does this every single game because of what we talked about, the weakness, that offensive line play in front of him. So he's just an absolute pleasure to watch as a former quarterback, watching how easily he's transitioned the league and the way he's able to make disastrous plays into positive plays.
And take us through that Matthew Stafford play as well.
Yeah, going back, talking about arm talent, arm strength. I mean, watch this throw. You know, there's not many times you're going to see a quarterback able to drive a football with the same type of trajectory and pace, but he's got to fit it in between the cornerback and the safety. As you see, you're going to see Cooper Kupp. He's got enough separation, but it's really that spot that he's throwing to with Cooper Kupp in the back of the end zone, and it's got enough pace to be able to beat the safety, but enough arc and trajectory to get over the quarterback who's trying to slough off enough to create a harder throwing window. This is just something that it had to be on point, on time, on the money, and he's able to do that because of that arm talent, that arm strength I mentioned earlier.
You wouldn't have ranked these guys as the top two quarterbacks in the playoffs going in, but it is a great quarterback matchup that we're going to have in the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow. Somebody's going to get their first ring. Brady Quinn with us here on CBS Sports HQ. You can hear him on the Pick Six podcast every now and then. Will Brinson is always there, running the show. Your daily NFL fix with Brinson and Dem Boys. Download and follow the Pick Six Pod wherever you get your audio.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.